Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. I am Chris Lindsley, and I've been a UUCSS member since 2001. Last May, I published a book called Land of Fun, about Funland, a small amusement park in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, where I worked for 6 summers in the 1980s. The book's also about the Fosnacht family that has owned and operated the park since 1962. Today's service is about the life lessons I learned from the Fosnacht family that resonate as much or more with me today than they did when I worked there. These lessons seem especially appropriate to me in light of world events, and are as simple and old school as you'd expect from a timeless amusement park that has 5 rides still in operation from when it opened. When family patriarch Al Fosnacht, who is 91, was asked several years ago about the secret to Funland's success, he said simply, love. Love is the answer. Love indeed. Visitors from around the world, you are especially welcome. Dorothy Hale is our welcoming captain of the day and will be glad to answer your questions in the chat. She will also be available during virtual coffee hour after the service. Our worship together continues in a completely online format. Our staff and volunteers are learning more every week about how to create community in this new way. We are transforming and strengthening our connections. Whether you are with us live or watching later, I am so glad you are here. If you are watching live, you can log into Google to participate in the comments. To help protect privacy, comments will not be available for later playback, but during the service they are very public, so keep that in mind. Thank you to Scott Sleek and Joe Paoletti for moderating today's chat. American Sign Language interpretation is available in a separate Zoom room. If you use ASL and need help finding that link, please ask in the chat to get that link. Thank you to all of the volunteers and staff who made today's service possible, especially to Michael Holmes and Jake Ryder, our tech director. Thank you to the musicians who contributed their time and talent for today's service. Thanks also to my son Graham and wife Deborah for their help. It's almost time for the chalice lighting and congregational commitment. If you have a chalice, a candle, or a flashlight at home, please get ready to light it and let us know in the chat that your chalice is lit and where you are. Finally, let me introduce Bruce McConaughey, our worship associate for today.
Good morning. Please join me in the words on your screen as we light our chalices. May this light warm our hearts with love and caring and guide us in the ways of truth. As we gather here for worship, we pledge ourselves to the endless search for truth, to the right of each to believe as mind, heart, and conscience dictate, to accept the responsibilities this freedom commands, and to implement our belief in the essential worth and dignity of every human being. May it be so. Let's sing the hymn, Gather the Spirit. The lyrics will appear on your screen.
Gather the Spirit, harvest the power, our separate fires will kindle one flame, witness the mystery of His love, our trials in this life appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit of heart and mind, seeds for the sowing are laid in store, nurtured in love and conscience refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit growing in awe, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun, winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again.
It's time for the story for all ages. There was a guy named Roger who spent his summers in Rehoboth Beach. He was what they called mildly retarded back then, or developmentally disabled today. He loved Funland, and even as an adult, he loved hanging around the park. He dreamed of working there. Then one day, the Fosnock family that owns Funland offered Roger a job. The family did not feel sad for Roger and wanted to make his dream of working there come true and give him something meaningful to do. Roger loved that job and wore his Funland shirt with pride. Just as importantly, that job gave him respect, confidence, and a purpose. Roger wanted everyone to know he worked at Funland and was part of the Funland family. He looked forward to the start of summer each year so he could return to Funland. I can still picture Roger's smile while he was working. The point of this story is Funland gave Roger a chance when no one else would, and he thrived. The way the Fosnack family treated Roger, both while he worked at Funland and throughout the rest of his life, several members of the family came to his memorial service 2 days before Christmas, was a lesson I will never forget.
Even in a time when we are physically apart as an act of community care, members and friends of this congregation continue to support one another through triumphs, tragedies, struggles, and milestones. During the music, if you are worshiping with us live, please type your joys or sorrows into the chat box, or type the name of someone you are holding in remembrance. Please remember that the chat box is public during the live stream. The Joys and Sorrows chat has proven to be full and fast-moving, so don't expect that everyone will be able to read every response. If you would like to discuss your joy or sorrow with a peer listener, please email layministers@uucss.org and let them know you need support. If you're watching a recording later, please take this time of meditation to reflect, to journal, to name the love that has been in your life in the past or present. As we enter into reflection on joys and sorrows, we are grateful to Phyllis Stanley, our pianist. May all be held in love. Because our response to joys and sorrows often calls on our compassion, I'd like us to meditate on these words from the American Buddhist Pema Chodron. Compassion is not a relationship between the healer and the wounded. It's a relationship between equals. Only when we know our own darkness well can we be present with the darkness of others. Compassion becomes real when we recognize our shared humanity.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
The Unitarian Universalist Church of Silver Spring is a living community with a rich heritage and a purposeful future. We are strong and adaptable in these times because of the commitments of members and friends. As you get ready to make your financial gift, there are two ways that you can do so. If you have a tablet or a smartphone, please download the Give Plus mobile app from Vanco. Search in zip code 20903 to find UUCSS, and within a few clicks, you can set up your account. To make your payment toward your pledge or to give to the operating budget, please select Annual Budget Drive. The other way to donate through your phone is through Text to Give. Use your phone to text a message to the number 833-880-1363. The content of your text message will be a $sign and the amount you want to donate. As you receive a reply with a link to complete your donation on a secure website. You'll see instructions for both of these options on your screen in a moment. If you are watching this on a recording, those options still work. You can use the Give Plus app or text at any time. If neither the app nor texting is a good option for you, the office is still accepting checks through the postal mail. Please mark your envelope Attention Collector. As a community, we need each other now more than ever. Please give as generously as you are able.
The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. Any fool can do it. There ain't nothing to it. Nobody knows how we got to the top of the hill. Since we're on our way down, we might as well enjoy the ride. The secret of love is in opening up your heart. It's okay to feel afraid, but don't let that stand in your way. 'Cause everyone knows that love is the only road. And since we're only here for a while, might as well show some style. Give us a smile, isn't it a lovely ride? We'll be gliding down and sliding down. Try not to try too hard, just a lovely ride. Now the thing about time is that time is not really real. It's just your point of view. How does it look to you in there? Einstein said he could never understand it all. Planets spinning through space, the smile upon your face. Welcome to the human race. Isn't it a lovely ride? We'll be gliding down, sliding down. Try not to try too hard, it's just a lovely ride. Such a lovely ride. We'll be gliding down and sliding down. Try not to try too hard, it's just a lovely ride. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time.
Hi again. It's time for the homily. My homily today is titled Land of Fun. When I was 16, I had the best summer job I could imagine. I was working at Funland, a small amusement park with rides and games on the boardwalk in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Sound good? Trust me, it gets better. This was not just any boardwalk, but a boardwalk Playboy magazine said was one of the best places on the East Coast for meeting girls. I lived that summer and the next 5 above the park with my dining room overlooking the boardwalk, beach, and Atlantic Ocean. Not only that, but the Fosnacht family that has owned Funland since 1962 provided us a house mother who did our laundry and cooked our dinner 6 nights a week. Every other day, my shift didn't start until 5 p.m., creating a perfect twofer. Sleeping as late as you wanted and hitting the beach all afternoon before dinner. It's no wonder that my first summer, I was one of just 3 rookies among the 26-person full-time crew, as the Fosnacht family had an employee waiting list longer than the Redskins had for season tickets in their heyday. Now, almost 40 years after I first worked at Funland, I feel even stronger that it was the perfect summer job. In fact, I'd say it was the best and most impactful position I've ever had, and I've had a lot. And that has little to do with the abundance of beach time and girls. Well, those didn't hurt, and more to do with the management style and values of the Fosnacht family, and in particular, those of family patriarch Al. Al, who was my boss the 6 years I worked there, turned 91 in November. He still works at the park 5 hours a day, spending 3 to 4 hours on trash and recycling duty first thing in the morning, often lifting 40-pound bags of garbage, and another 90 minutes operating the kiddie rides at night. He relishes and looks forward to those jobs every day, and can't wait for May to roll around so he can resume roles that no one else in his family wants. He's asked all the time about why he takes out the trash. His answer is vintage Al. Funny, genuine, and full of gratitude. When you have no skills, you do whatever's left. The reason I started doing the trash was because it was something I could do to carry my share of the load. So much of my life has been spent at Funland, and I'm very fortunate I'm still able to help. At my age, you're not supposed to lift 40-pound bags of garbage. I want to be able to contribute and still be a part of something that means so much to me and my family. Simply put, Funland and the 4 generations of the Fosnack family who have owned and operated the park since 1962 have had such a huge influence on my life that I was inspired to write Land of Fun to share what makes them so special with a wider audience. I view this church service as another opportunity to do just that. In my first week at Funland, Al taught me 2 things I didn't think much of at the time: how to secure trash bags on Funland's trash cans, doing things right the first time, and to always pick up any trash I would see in the park. Think of the park as your home and our customers as your guests. We want to make it as nice as possible for them, and that means no trash. Later that summer, Al asked me to operate some rides for a group of special needs teenagers who were coming to the park before Funland was normally open. At the time, I thought Al just needed bodies to help. I later realized he wanted us to see the fun and joy these kids, who were the same age as me, were having, and why it was so important for them to have this opportunity. The kids could not have gone on the rides while the park was open, as they needed too much assistance getting on and off. In my work on the book, I learned that Al had groups like this in for no charge and provided lunch for them as well. He was also the first one there to greet them and help them on the rides, and he would contact their schools or organizations in the off-season to plan that summer's visit. A teacher who coordinates these trips to Funland and who has worked with Al for many years said he is one of a kind. It makes you realize there are some good people in this world that want to do for others out of the kindness of their heart and are not looking for any recognition or anything in return. It is the feeling of knowing you've made someone else's day or year. The generosity he shows the kids is beyond amazing. Affordability is another park staple. Funland did not raise ticket prices for the first 25 years the park was open. 10 cents each or 12 for $1. And today, tickets cost just 40 cents, and you can buy 100 tickets for $30. The same is true with the games. Funland has the lowest game and ride prices of any park in the country. Al refers to their pricing structure as today's fun at yesterday's prices. He adds, "It costs the same amount of money to run a ride if there are 2 people on it or 22. So why not keep the prices at a point where more people can have enjoyment and the opportunity to ride more rides with their money?" Treating summer employees like family is another Funland tradition. Providing living arrangements, food, and laundry were just the start. What I didn't realize at the time is that the Fosnacks considered its summer workers to be family members for life. 2 quick examples. Once I had kids, I learned that former employees got free tickets for life. It didn't take my kids, Graham and Olivia, long to figure this out. So as soon as we'd pull into town for vacation, they'd ask if we could go see Mr. Al. He always loved seeing former workers and their families, and it sure worked with us. Al and his wife attended Deborah and my wedding, and he also came to my dad's memorial service. He's gone to events like these for many employees over the years, and I will never forget that. I have managed people since working on the Penn State student newspaper in college, and it's amazing the number of times I've asked myself, what would Al do when faced with a new situation or problem? Al and his family, more than 30 of whom work at the park all summer, lead by example. They showed us instead of telling us, and it seemed like every time a customer threw up, the least pleasant job you can imagine, especially when it took place on one of the fast motion rides. Enough said. It seemed like a Fosnack was there to clean it up before we could even react. That is not the sort of thing you forget easily. Nor does having a grandchild ride on the same ride in the same spot that you rode on 70 years ago as a kid, as a man told Al last year. Funland is a throwback to a simpler time, where people have affordable family fun, where cell phones seem to get used much less often than most places, and where generations of family memories are created. Having 5 rides still in operation from when they bought the park lends the park an old-fashioned feel and appeal. Customers talk about seeing these rides and being transported back to their youth and of being home. Sharing these rides and memories with their kids and grandkids is a truly emotional experience. One of the unexpected benefits of writing this book was learning much more about Al and his family. I started this project as a big Funland and Fosnacht family fan. After 2 years of interviewing more than 100 people, customers, former employees, town officials, and business owners, people in the amusement park industry, and more, I'm even more of a fan today. It all starts with Al. His primary roles at Funland have ranged from accountant to personnel manager to ride operator to trash collector, with all kinds of work in between. His primary interests and activities during the non-summer months, and when he and his extended family return home to Hershey, PA, have included Boy Scout master, Sunday school teacher, member of the church choir, prison ministry, and the head of the Fosnacht Foundation, which has donated more than $500,000 primarily to charities that focus on helping kids, fighting hunger, providing health services for those who can't afford them, and more. Al's prison ministry work is something I learned about, not from him but from his family, and that I think illustrates the kind of person he is. Prison ministry simply means he visits people in prison and tries to help them by spending time with them. He has been doing this every 2 or 3 weeks during the Funland off-season since the early 1980s. He visits 4 Pennsylvania prisons and meets mostly with prisoners in on life sentences. These are people who have, in many cases, are completely cut off from their families and have little company. One person Al met with had not had a visitor in 12 years. I asked Al why he did this. Many of the people I visit have been in prison for 2/3 of their lives. I think knowing that challenges me to be able to do things that can help other people. It is one of those situations where you get more than you give. I know when I come out of prison, I feel good about having been there. The feeling of the inmates is mutual. Prison is a dark place. I've seen many guys die in prison because they did not have any support system. But Al was there for me. He's not afraid to open his life up to people. To have someone like Al there, not giving a hand out but a hand up, has been powerful. He truly cares about people. Said another, Al's visits mean enough to me that I'm willing to get strip searched before and after each visit. I'm not as surprised that Al has seen me as long as he has, as I am amazed he comes to visit me and the other inmates at all. His visits mean that I am loved. Every time I reread what the prisoners and many others said about Al, I wonder what it must feel like to have that kind of impact on people, and why I'm not doing more to help others. Land of Fun is a trip back to a simpler time. It's the story of a family that puts people and community before profits. It also shows what can be accomplished when you share a common goal. In this case, to provide customers with the kind of experience, value, and entertainment you'd like to receive without worrying about who gets the credit. As I've heard Al say many times, one of the greatest things in life is the opportunity to do something for someone else. He and his family have done just that at Funland since 1962 and have taken many others like me along for the ride. I could not be more grateful. It's now time for today's reflection. In thinking about all that I said about Al Fosnacht and his family during the homily today about the ways that they help others, today's reflection question is very much related. It is, how do we reach out and lift people up who have all sorts of challenges in meaningful ways?
Let love continue long, and show to us the way. And if that love be strong, no hurt can have a say. And if that love remain but strong, no hurt can ever have a say. If love cannot be found, no common faith prevails. When love does not abound, no common faith will fail. When human love does not abound, a common faith will always fail. If we in love unite, debate can cause no strife. For with this love in sight, disputes enrich our life. For with this bond of human love, disputes can mean a richer life. May love continue long, and lead us on our way. For if that love be strong, no hurt can have a say. For if that love remain but strong, no hurt can ever have a say.
As we near the end of the service, those of you who are watching live, please look in the chat for instructions to get to the virtual coffee hour. If you have a chalice near you, get ready to extinguish it. Let us know in the chat that you will carry the flame. Please join me in the words of our chalice extinguishing. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.
Hi again. It's hard to believe the service is already over. I wanted to thank UUCSS for allowing me this opportunity to share my story, and thanks to all of you for watching. I was lucky enough to write a book and share a story that means a lot to me, and as I found out over the past year, it means a lot to thousands of others as well. I hope some part of this service inspires you to do something meaningful for someone else, just for the joy it will bring to others. As Al Fosnock says about his prison ministry experience, many of the people I visit have been in prison for 2/3 of their lives. I think knowing that challenges me to be able to do things to help other people. It is one of those situations where you get more than you give. I can't think of a better thought to end this service on. I hope the Sunday school teacher in him approves. Thank you.
Whenever this world gets the best of me and it all goes wrong, I count down the hours till the time we meet and I move along, 'cause I know that when I see you I will be happy as the sun, lighter than a feather, walking on the clouds when we are together. Every day with you just keeps getting better, the world's as it should be when you are here with me, here with me. am incomplete. I've been undone so long. Only you inspire the melody in me. Happy as the sun, lighter than a feather, walking on the clouds when we are together. Every day with you just keeps getting better. The world's as it should be when you are here. How could I go wrong when you are here with me? How could I be anything but smiling? Happy as the sun, lighter than a feather, walking on the clouds when we are together. Every day with you just keeps getting better. The world's as it should be when you are here. Happy as the sun, lighter than a feather, walking on the clouds when we are together. Every day with you just keeps getting better. The world's as it should be when you are here with me. Yeah, the world's as it should be when you are here with me.